So, I don't ask a lot of you, but someone could have told me that those flying monkeys were back in this movie.
How dare you?
It's a Wizard of Oz prequel, of course, I should have known that, but I was terrified of those monkeys as a kid, and guess what? They're back. Not as creepy, though.
I'll get you, my pretty.
What's up, Flick fans? I'm a newcomer. I knew nothing about Wicked. I went into this completely blind, and frankly, I wasn't that excited. So today I'm going to tell you why Wicked surprised me.
Are people born wicked? Or do they have wickedness thrust upon them?
Elphaba, a misunderstood young woman because of her green skin, and Glinda, a popular girl, became friends at Shiz University in the land of Oz. After an encounter with the Wizard of Oz, their friendship reaches a crossroads. This movie is rated PG for some scary action, thematic material, and brief, suggestive material. It is directed by Jon M Chu, who brought us In the Heights, which I actually thought was a good musical, and Crazy Rich Asians, which was a massive hit that year. So I knew there would be some competent directing here, and that's really needed in a musical. It's also needed in a stage-to-screen adaptation. And I said it before, I didn't know anything about Wicked. I didn't even know when I was hearing these songs, like when Popular comes on, I'm like, oh, I've heard that. That's from Wicked? So it's not a sign of unintelligence, maybe, but it's more so I'm just not in that world. Got my own life to live, man. I got a daughter, and I watch a lot of sports. That's it. The trailer comes out, and I'm like, all right, let's see what we got. I watched the trailer. It looks interesting enough. Cynthia Erivo, Ariana Grande, they could have good chemistry. I don't know what this story is. Is Dorothy going to show up? Where's the wizard? Are we going to learn that he's a fraud? Liar! All I knew was The Wizard of Oz. As a big movie guy, I've seen it countless times. Again, terrified of the monkeys as a kid, but I was a huge fan of the movie. There's something so magical about going back and watching that so many years, almost a century later. It's impressive. But this time we get a different side of things. The Shiz University, a bunch of college students excited to make their lives better. I don't know what the trades or jobs are in this crazy wizarding world, not Harry Potter, but I was curious to see how that establishment would work, what the interactions were going to be like. If they could capture world building like a Harry Potter, are they going to do it on that level? Are they going to allow us to get to know these characters? Or is it just a place for fans to go and say, oh, I recognize that character or that musical number, or, ooh, it's a nod for me because I'm a huge fan of the musical. And those things needed to be in there because this is obviously something that you want to appeal to longtime fans. But you also want newcomers to watch this movie and feel something and feel like they belong in this fandom, or at least in the movie side of things. The opening scene, admittedly, was really cool. As a fan of Wizard of Oz, I'm like, all right, we're looking at kind of the aftermath of things here. Then you peel the curtain back and we explore the dynamic between these two integral characters in this universe. And I had no clue where this journey was going. We got a really strained relationship between Elphaba and her father. We've also got Glinda, who is this perfect person who isn't a perfect person. She's tossing her hair back, and it's Ariana Grande, so you're like, oh, look at her. Is my wife listening? I'm not going to say it. She's pretty. I'm sorry, honey. No, I'm not. She's the kind of pretty person that thinks she's all that in a bag of chips, and in reality, she's not. She's kind of dumb. And you see that play out, her dynamic between she and Elphaba. Elphaba's like correcting her grammar and kind of steering her in the right direction, even though they do not like each other at the beginning of this movie. And a lot of people don't like Elphaba because she's green, because she's different, because the color of her skin. And I absolutely see what they're going for there with what it's representing and how it's kind of telling that story in this very specific way. At the same time, I'm like, yeah, people are walking around talking to animals and nobody's judging the animals for being animals, but they're like, she's green. But I'm going to have a conversation with this lion. All right, I get it. Let's see what you got for me after that opening scene. It did take a little bit to get things going, kind of understand the story that we're in for, the world that we are a part of, how magnificent, grand, and magical it truly is. And as we progressed, getting into kind of the second act, the end of the first act, I'm looking around thinking, okay, this is actually already better than I thought it would be. Let's see where it continues to go. The movie gets better as it goes, and it escalates into something that is truly magical, that is truly a work of art in so many ways, and something that I think most importantly, fans are going to be really excited about. Now, what about newcomers? Because I'm a newcomer, a lot of other people. I've seen plenty of newcomers that haven't loved it as much as other people, but they at least open the door for you early to kind of understand the world that they are, or that you are living in, and to embrace it, to embrace these characters, to embrace the themes that we're dealing with, the oversight of the very powerful people in this world. There's something going on with the animals that I didn't expect. That's another plot thread, but something that does play significance as we go throughout the third act. And I thought that was pretty cool that they managed to throw those things in there. Also give us this college, I don't want to say teen drama, but they're all supposed to be a bunch of kids. Now, did I fully buy that Jonathan Bailey, who is like 30-something years old, is a college student? No. But I'm like, all right, okay.
Right.
Speaking of which, Bailey comes in, and I'm like, yeah, I know this guy's got a lot of charm, but can he? Oh my God, man, there's a musical number in a library, I believe, where the walls are rotating and the books are flying and the moves that he's got along with everybody else. And I could apply that significance, that amount of entertainment to a lot of the musical numbers here. Now, the songs that I recognized are pretty much the best ones, even though I didn't know they were in Wicked. The other ones are catchy and entertaining and very well done, and the set design, the production design, that's awesome. Not maybe as memorable as the others, but I'm not kidding. Every musical number, I'm tapping my foot, and I'm trying to pay attention to how these scenes are directed, and Chu just knows how to direct musical numbers, man. From the way that the sets are interacting with the people involved, the way that we are following everyone with this camera, the camera movement is beautiful. A couple of one-take sequences that are awesome, and that's what I want a musical number to do, to grab me and capture me by the performances, but also the way it's handled, the way it's directed. And I keep going back to the set design and production design and just the magic that is created by this world. And man, when we are getting close to, we're about to see Oz, we're in the Emerald City, I'm just sitting back going, this is mesmerizing. Like, imagine traveling back in time and showing everyone who saw Wizard of Oz on the big screen this movie. They would probably die. They would probably just pass out.
I gotta get out of here!
Maybe we shouldn't do that, but I want to test it. And yeah, a lot of it's CGI. Some of it has to be CGI. There's a scene where she gets on a train, and I'm like, clear green screen background, but man, it looks awesome. Like, it looks really cool. The design across the board, the way that the people are interacting with the designs, and even the CGI. Like, some of the animals don't look great. There's like a little lion cub, I believe, that doesn't look great. We've seen better CGI animals. I saw the Mufasa trailer. I'm like, yeah, those animals look better than these animals. Fine, whatever. But man, I thought the way that the world was built across the board, capturing what I was looking for, and that's like that. I want to feel like I feel when I'm watching Harry Potter. I want to feel like I'm living there with these characters. I felt that. I think they did a great job of that, and I was in. With these two specifically. Now, let's talk about Cynthia Erivo and Ariana Grande. Erivo's great. She's belting out some songs here. I'm like, yeah, all right. Powerful. I understand.
I understand it now.
What you're going for. You're capturing that. Very powerful. The fact that so many people hate her just because of her green skin, getting past the silliness of it, I get what it's trying to represent. I like that. I like the way that she handled it. She's confident, she's calculated, she knows what she wants. She has an opportunity towards the end of this film to kind of attain what she wants, but that's kind of going against what she believes in. And so many things kind of working with her character that makes her super compelling. And I go back to the end of Wizard of Oz, I'm like, oh, that's sad. That's really tragic. That's what I wanted this movie to capture. And then Glinda, like I said, who is, silly and she wants to be popular. She is popular. Everyone's in love with Glinda. But there's this softness to her as well. And as they start to become friends and as they start to handle things in a very different way, I saw that. I felt that. And I'm watching Ariana Grande. And not that Erivo is not, but Grande is doing some things here. I'm like, is this an awards worthy performance. Are there going to be nominations for Grande with this movie? I mean, maybe they wait to part 2, but I'm starting to kind of throw her into my my predictions here. She's awesome. I mean, handling certain things. It's those minor movements and those minor kind of mannerisms that just go a long way. The way that she's tossing her hair, the way that she's interacting with people kind of awkwardly, kind of in a dumb way, but in a beautiful way. And Grande's amazing. I always knew she was really good when I was watching Victorious. And that's, you know, a young Austin watching her in Victorious. I was like, yeah, this is it.
I understand it now. I'm not playing with y'all.
But she's great here, and I genuinely loved watching her. Again, Jonathan Bailey brings a lot to this film. Marissa Bode is good. Ethan Slater is good. Michelle Yeoh is in this film as this kind of grand master wizard professor who takes a liking to Elphaba, and she says, I want you, not you, Glinda. Go home, Glinda. And then Jeff Goldblum, who kind of walks around like this, and he kind of does what he does best, but he does it in a maniacal way because you know that the wizard is a fraud. Not a spoiler. We know this. It's just how do they handle that in this film, and that oversight that they want to have around everyone in this kingdom is fascinating. And so, man, I just thought the story really started to click as it moved along, and I'm just super on board with all the things that they're delivering, and most of the things that they're delivering visually. Now, I've seen some complaints on Twitter of people talking about the lighting on the faces. Why are the shadows a little off and awkward? And I get that, but it's also kind of looking at everything else, right? The way these musical numbers are handled via cinematography, the way that these set designs come to life, the production design is so brilliant. And yeah, there's a lot of backlighting, but it also kind of creates an effect and a flare, and people are comparing it to, you know, the way this is shot is kind of like a Russo brothers movie. And I'm like, yeah, I see that comparison, but I think there's a little more nuance to it than that. Although I do agree, we could have had a little more lighting on the face at times. And I'm also seeing complaints that this is a very clear part 1, and it's almost like, how do I judge the whole thing without seeing the whole thing? How do I judge this as an entity when we're clearly ending off, and then it's like, part 2 next year, and I'm like, oh, man, I gotta wait on that. But the fact that I want to wait on that now, I think that's a testament, right? I'm actually genuinely curious because I don't know where the story goes. I have no clue what's going to happen next. The flying monkey could rule the kingdom. I don't know.
What is wrong with you?
Look, I wanted to be converted into a Wicked fan. I wanted to be surprised walking out of this theater, and seeing all these things come together genuinely surprised me. And I walked out happy. I walked out happy for the longtime fans. I walked out happy for the newcomers who are going to enjoy it. And I walked out happy that we've got a big budget movie that's going to make a lot of money, going to get some awards nominations, that is and captures the sense of fulfillment that a lot of people are looking for, and creates a new world to live in. That's cool, man. When a movie can make you want to live in that world for a while and kind of be with these characters, even though some things are kind of scary that's going on with the wizard of this world. I think that's awesome, and that's a testament to everyone involved, the writing, the translation, and the talent. Before I give you my score, if I could ask one thing of you all today, if you want to drop that thumbs up just to let me know that you enjoyed this review. And if you want to join me for more reviews, man, we just talked Gladiator 2 on this channel. We're going to talk more Wicked, probably on a live stream, and probably in our Movie Mode podcast, another episode coming out this weekend. Find us on YouTube, and let me know, what is your favorite musical, not only of the year, but of the decade so far? I'd love to see that in the comments down below. And if you're a fan of Wicked, the musical. Wicked, the movie, is a magnificent production. Chu directs these incredibly choreographed musical numbers with ease as he utilizes them to keep you invested while developing this story in the process. The character work is wonderful. Erivo truly delivers, and Grande just kicked the door down in this year's awards conversation. As a newcomer who had little anticipation for this, you can count me in as a new fan. It's not a perfect movie, but I would say it is almost the perfect translation for what this could have been compared to what it actually was. I'm very impressed, and I'm surprised. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you subscribe, come back for more later this week.